Welcome to Numb Bills Fan Podcast number 167. I'm your host, David Palermo, and this podcast is dedicated strictly to fantasy football. Don't forget, follow along on numbbillsfan.com. Find a podcast player. If you like podcasts, aka a place to go to listen to audio that you can pause, rewind at your choice. If you don't like these ads in the beginning, guess what? Press forward 15 seconds or 30 seconds, whatever your podcast app is set to. Or you can go to numbbillsfan.com. There's a player right there and do the same thing. Play it on your lock screen in the background. And you can rewind. You can pause. You can turn me off. Just get a podcast app. If you need help with that, please shoot me an email, David@numbbillsfan. I'll gladly guide you so you can have instant access to Numb Bills Fan Podcast anytime. That said, follow along. GrandstandSportsNetwork.com has some cool podcasts up there if you're looking to get out of the Bills box. You know, there's a whole lockdown franchises up there. There's the Beyond the Blade Savers podcast that Chad does. Good stuff. So there's things to check out up there. And lastly, brought to you by Punch Drunk Sports. And if you have the app, you might want to fast forward another minute if you've heard this before. So Ari Shafir, Jason Tebow, and Sam Tripoli all have a podcast called Punch Drunk Sports to talk about sports, but everything. You know, if a big MMA fight happened, they're going to talk about it. They'll talk about baseball, basketball, whatever. And they'll talk about the things that people don't talk about, that ESPN won't touch. And it's just like kind of cool the way they do it. And it's as if you're really talking to your buddies at the comedy club or out and about with whatever jokes in there, and it's great. I roll laughing, and sometimes doing drywall and construction work, I can't listen to things that make me laugh too hard because then it could be treacherous, and I could fall off of a scissor lift or something like that. That said, Punch Drunk Sports, great podcast. We are, Numb Bills Fan Podcast is the podcast for the Punch Drunk Sports Network, and, you know, as you know, Ari Shafir has a special out, Double Negative, on Netflix. Sam Tripoli is doing another podcast, Tinfoil Hat. He also has a new comedy album coming out as well. And Jason Tebow is also doing a thing where he has an album. Sorry, fumble my words. Jason Tebow has a comedy album, Return to the Red State, as well, that's out. So check all that out. And right now on the line, so 3 minutes in here, party people, target goal for your podcast app is 3 minutes in right now. I got on the line Mike Smith, a.k.a. Smitty, as he likes to proclaim himself. And, you know, it worked out for him because we had Nick Pop on, Nick Papagelli, and he recognized it. So, hi, Michael.
How's it going, David?
You know, pretending like we didn't just shoot the shit after podcast number 166, Freeze the Fish, that we just previewed the Dolphins.
Well, the good thing is I can let the audience know that I finished my soup and it was delicious. And now I'm on to drinking, so it's winter wonderland out here. Tell you what.
Hey, what are you drinking? Hold on, Mike, hold on. Let's stop the show. Hold on. What are you drinking, Mike?
What am I drinking?
Yeah, what are you drinking there, Ben? What are you drinking, bro?
Plum sake and Crown Royal.
Wow.
You do a little mixture, and it is delicious.
I do like sake. I'm not gonna lie. It's a
it's a plum
different
sake, so it's not the dry one. It's a little on the sweeter side, but it's still got higher alcohol content. And you mix it with your whiskey, man. The flavors, it's delicious. Just throw it up on the rocks. It's great. But this weather, last night I was out in Lancaster. Holy crap! Within an hour, there must have been like 4 inches of snow on the ground, and at times you couldn't see anything driving. Like, it was just, you know, complete whiteout. But, you know, we trucked through with the truck, so it was all nice. So I'm ready for a nice football weekend that starts in 1 hour, T-minus 22 minutes. Or 1 hour, it's an hour. I'm looking at, it's 3:22, but yeah. It starts in an hour. We got football action. Lions and Bears. I'll tell you what, I like that Trubisky kid, and I really like Jordan Howard.
So, God, you have to say Mitchell Trubisky. I have to like spell that Trubisky in the description.
True. Just think True Bisky without an E. Trubisky. Mitch. He doesn't mind Mitch either, so we can call him Mitch. You know, we're almost friends. We've never talked before, but we're making progress.
Mitch Trubisky. You said O.J. Howard.
O.J. Howard.
Who'd you say? Who was the other guy?
Yeah, let's create guys here. No. See, now you're putting thoughts in my head. Now I can't even think of his real name.
What do you like about Mitchell? I mean Mitch Trubisky.
The Mitch.
Like, what do you see? What do you see in him?
I like his poise. You know, he's got a little moxie.
Dude, don't give me that goddamn stock moxie garbage.
No, we're going stock moxie, baby. You got to be confident back there. I mean, look, at the end of the day, confidence can go a long way. And if you don't believe that, ask one Ryan Fitzpatrick, because kid had confidence through the world. Now, he didn't have the ability, but I tell you what, that confidence and that moxie and that gunslinger attitude, it's gotten him a lot of money.
And he's got mad kids. He's spraying so many loads, loads of confidence. He's got loads of confidence out in the world.
Well, the thing is, when you're talking greenbacks, he's got a lot of them. So, and the kid's Harvard native, so you know he invests well. I wouldn't be surprised if he had, you know, a plethora of Bitcoins just lying around just for a cold rainy
Yo, man,
day.
don't talk about Bitcoin, because I don't want people getting Bitcoin, because I'm getting out of this fucking rat race. And I feel like I'm in that rat in a cage smashing pumpkins video trying to get out of this goddamn fucking mud pit called America. And
Bitcoin's $19,450 today. So
yeah, well, I don't gotta own an entire one, so you can still invest in a little bit. Mm-hmm.
That is true. You don't need to own an entire one.
Why am I talking about this? Delete.
Got to get that Bitcoin money.
You know what, though? I can't wait to put Bitcoin in the description. That way it hits the whole website thing. Bitcoin. Tag that motherfucker. All right.
Well, the good thing about Bitcoin, like, there's not enough, like, real information on how these companies are going to perform long term. So you can kind of just make up your own theory and thesis as to how they might perform, and you're going to get a lot of people clicking in. Click, 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 click.
Hey, listen to that giggle. All right, dude, so we got to get down to brass tacks here.
Brass tacks.
What is left in the fantasy football season of our league? Is it like championship week? Is it playoffs now?
Playoffs, buddy. Playoffs.
Yeah, am I even in it?
Actually, David, what you need to do...
So we're in a 16-team league to reset. We're in a 16-team league. Mike and I had some drama that played out that we're going to conclude today after we talk about our league right now. It's a very interesting league. Can you just refresh the audience what we start?
So, Dave, we're in a 16-team league. We have a quarterback spot, a running back spot, 2 wide receiver tight end flex spots, and 1 wide receiver running back tight end flex spot. Kicker and a defense. And 16 teams, 16-man roster. You get a 6-man bench. So Dave's biggest problem this year was his reluctance to trade Kareem Hunt.
After David Johnson was injured. So Kareem Hunt was all I had. I had David Johnson with the number 1 pick and did not take Bell because I did not want any hamstring things or anything like that, soft tissue stuff, from not being in camp to come up.
Well, Dave, speaking of, have you checked your team recently?
No.
All right, because...
All I know is I've lost by a lot in a lot of games, and Kareem Hunt was like my only saving grace. And
I want to say last week you were one of the higher scorers, so in the constellation bracket, going for $50, you're in contention, I think. So
yeah, dude, I got 18.9 points, man. The Dagos are doing good.
You have to set a lineup. Don't skip that out.
Yeah, I'm looking at my lineup now, man. I like my lineup.
Right, because you don't want to miss that. See, I got robbed last week. Let's just talk about that. I got booted from the playoffs last week.
What happened there, bud? Yeah, no, I'm putting my man Marquise Goodwin in right now, right?
Yeah, he should have been in, but
yeah.
What happened?
Hey, can we talk about? All right.
Wentz happened. That's what happened. I was so close. If Wentz is in just the rest of the game,
tell people how you got Wentz.
Ride to victory. Oh, Wentz was a great deal early on in the season. I had a trade offer. See, unlike David, when I see a gift, I take it. Okay, Dave doesn't take gifts, but when I see a gift, I take it. I had a trade offer for Trevor Siemian for Carson Wentz, straight up. I go, yes, I'll take that. That is a great deal. Now, Dave, he sees a great deal, and he's all like, you're trying to rob me. You're trying to get me. Who is Adam Thielen? It's Kelsey. He's not that good. Oh, Kelsey's only been performing these last, 4 or 5 years, and, your Kareem Hunt, he shows you production in 2-3 games, and you're like, oh, my God, we got Barry Sanders here.
Who was my running back I'm supposed to play, Mike? Like, really, don't you understand? David Johnson got hurt. Like, the guy who was getting picked over Le'Veon Bell across the fucking life.
Look, what I'm saying is I'm glad you made that decision, because had I traded those two guys for your trash, then it would have affected me greatly. So I want to, just quick moment, give a shout out to you, and I also want to give a shout out to Sandman, who's in our league. I offered him Adam Thielen and Kelsey as well for Julio Jones. He too declined. So I'm pretty sure we can look back and see who made those bad calls, because it's clear that both of you guys would have been very happy owners of, top tight end, top 5 wide receiver. I mean, it would have been a nice combination. Oh, and I was also throwing in Braden Cooks. I offered him too. Cooks, Thielen, Kelsey, any combination of the three, and you just didn't want it.
Yeah, actually, no. I said Cooks, Thielen, and Kelsey. I would have did that. You did not, dude.
That's the thing.
No, that's the thing. Is I would no. See, you wouldn't have done it. You just said you would.
Wanted 3. I said a combination. I didn't say all of them. I didn't say you could have.
I look at combination like.
You're all right, man, if I could just get this combination that any given week could go for 90 points, sure, I'd give up one player that could go for 30 when I can pick up 3 more. That seems perfectly, it's a great idea.
Why is it up until 5 weeks ago, if he was such a fucking bum? You know what I mean? They already played like 10 games, and almost 10 games, and he's such a bum. You still kept coming after it, and your deal got a little sweeter till the week after.
Well, let me tell you.
Why did you keep wanting him then if he's so bad? He's just going to be a bum anyways. And if anything, you should be thanking me that you made the play. You should be thanking me that you made the playoffs, and I am so stupid.
I should have freaking won last week. But the problem is, the reason why I wanted him is because I have running backs like Joe Mixon, Marlon Mack, Derrick Henry.
Yeah, Mixon is garbage.
Well, he started to come on, and then he got a concussion. So
garbage.
He has 2 good games.
What is garbage, Mike? Mixon. Agreed?
No.
You tried to offer me here when you preface in the text, and he sends me this huge text, and he doesn't have the name of the guy he wants in there. There's something to it. And then when you had to try to sell me on starter. Cool, Mike. You know what I look for in a 16-team draft in like the last 6 rounds? Are starters. I remember I dropped a motherfucker on waiver. I dropped a dude, okay? And this guy, it was Jordan Matthews, and this dude came back to me with the trade offer, including the guy I dropped.
Oh, who did that?
I don't know. I was like, get out of here. Fucking retard.
That's classic too. Yeah. Hey, I think you made a mistake. I'm willing to give them back to you at a price. I mean, they can be free, but
And
I'll
dude,
package them in real nice for you. Hey, but I think your real season problem was your faith in what's his name? You had a tight end that you were real fancy.
I was starting like 3 tight ends for like 7 games.
Yeah, you can't start 3 tight ends. We covered that.
In hindsight,
But,
I should have played Marquise Goodwin every game. In hindsight, really.
would have been better for you.
And I also kept Rex Burkhead around for way too long. And of course, his best game is against the Bills, one of them. And
I know, I'll take him.
right. So it's like I did sit on him for a while to come back, but he shouldn't have been out for so long. But it's like you knew he was gonna go off, man. I know he's the guy. Like I don't know what's up with Gillespie. So. I don't know. So I didn't take the trade offer, and this is crazy because it would have launched me into the playoffs. But I had a lot of games. Playoffs? I had a lot of games where I was totally just like facing that one guy. Like my favorite part about doing only this fantasy league this year is that I don't have to worry about a player going off on highlights and scroll through 5 leagues to find out which team I either did go off in or get fucked on. You know what I mean? And it seemed like this year I was just blown up on like so many times. And at the same time, I did not do. I needed to get rid of Kareem Hunt to even squeeze an extra 10 points out of there. You know what I mean? And that was really my biggest fault. So, yeah, he should have gone. He really should have gone because Thielen definitely worked out. And Cooks, I did not expect Tom Brady this year to throw the ball deep. I did not expect, any of that. You know what I mean? I did not. We just haven't seen it in a long time, So, seeing him more, you know what I mean? So it's almost like with the Patriots, like at this point, you might as well, I think, have one of
give them the Lombardi. You know what I would do at this point in the season? Save everybody the time. Just give the Patriots the Lombardi trophy because it's over. Super Bowl champs. What do you think, Dave?
I really hope Tom Brady gets fucking crushed.
Wow, Dave is calling for Tom Brady to get injured. You actually hit it right here, folks.
No, dude. I scrolled through something and it says something like Tom Brady said he's never had a what's another word for a bruise?
I don't know.
Damn
any
it.
other word for bruise.
What a great podcast. This is a great podcast.
He's never had a bruise? That's ridiculous.
Yeah, okay. Something like that. And it's like, damn, dude. Yeah, I don't know, man.
He was out for a full season, so he's been injured before. And look, the Patriots are about to go to Pittsburgh, and I'm going to guess they're going to win. That's all. I mean, it's pretty simple. Dallas is going to win here. But you look at the fantasy outlook for the week. Jordan Howard's a solid play up in Detroit. Today, you also got Kareem Hunt. Put him in your lineup. Gordon, put him in your lineup. Keenan Allen, wow, he's been a monster recently. Put him in your lineup. Travis Kelce, put him in your lineup. There's going to be some good start to, actually, it could be the first week of your playoffs if you have a 4-team. And this is week number 2. So if you're making that push to the Super Bowl or the championship game, you could have some tough decisions. Do you want to play Jimmy G? Garoppolo could show a little magic, a little shine, put a little turpentine out there, spread the ball around. Because I think they can beat the Titans. Titans are 8-5, but Jimmy G's got the magic.
Yeah, and Marquise Goodwin, I've always liked Marquise Goodwin as a Bills fan. And people like to say he's injury prone, but it's like if you look at the injuries, there was one injury where the dude literally a fat nose tackle belly flopped on the poor fucking kid. Like, come on, man. Like, anybody Kyle Williams could get injured with that. You know? So,
well, since Jimmy G's come, he's caught 14 passes from Garoppolo for 205 yards.
wow.
Lovely. So targets are just going to keep coming from Mr. Goodwin.
And they need to. They need to. Is there anything else you think we should get through on this podcast? We talked, if anybody's interested, I'd love to talk a little bit about what we touched on last podcast, which was, if anybody's interested in hearing coaching points about Madden and how it can relate to scheme and to, I mean, how would you describe what we talked about? Because I really think we had something good there. All kidding aside, Mike, like I really did like what we talked about in the last podcast, 166. It's about 2/3 of the way through. I could tell everybody where it is. The timestamp would be at about the 50-minute mark. Madden really matters. So,
well, it's all about creating a game plan and switching up. So, what you do in Madden and what you do in real life, you find your weakness, you exploit it, and then when they make the adjustment, you now make your adjustments to attack the areas that they've now opened up for you. By attacking the weaknesses of the defenses, it causes them to adjust, opening up something else. And Bills don't have the ability to attack the something else when it opens up. And their play calling so, terrible and basic that they don't open up the offense. They don't give their players enough freedom to make plays themselves. So, but Dave, we got to wrap this up. I got to get to video game playing. I got to get back to my drink, which I actually never left. So,
Michael, thank you as always, man. I might come over and whoop your ass. I don't know if I'll have the time.
Come on over. We'll talk about it.
All right, but are you home? Are you home after? Are you home after 6:30?
I'm home all night, buddy. Dude, I already started beer 30.
Are you doing anything tonight?
No.
I gotta go to a show at the Bug Jar by midnight. And then I gotta wake up for that fucking Bills game. Fuck.
Yeah, you gotta get up for the Bills game.
I
gotta get up. We don't have a Christmas tree yet, Dave.
Dude, I was gonna get one with my girlfriend today, but I got this dinner to go to.
Yeah, but it's free food.
Yeah, I got free food from Santa Motors, the car company. They're like my Uncle Joe. And Uncle Joe. Man, dude, being a car salesman is like the worst. You're like the most murdered person in town if you're a used car salesman. Like, and I've been around cars, Mike, and like, I don't purposely fuck people, but it's like I'm in the house business too. You know what I'm saying? It's just like,
I know what you're saying.
You just fix things. You can't control everything. So
can't control nothing.
All right, Mike. I'll see you, man.
All right, buddy.
All right,
have a good one.
Thanks. All right, so that's Mike Smith. I love Mike Smith. Talked to him for the last 2 hours. So there you have it. The Fantasy Football Numb Fantasy Football Fan Podcast Edition. So I'm going to do a new podcast. I guess I'll say it here. Mike Smith is going to do a fantasy football exclusive podcast. Because I think there's a lot of topics that need to be talked about, and it helps talk about things across the NFL as well. So look out for, more specific titled, as always, if you want to scroll back a few weeks. Haven't done one in a couple months. Been tied up. Priorities here. So that said, go Bills if you like them. Don't like the Pats. I'm your host, David Palermo. Have a good one. And follow along on Grandstand Sports Network. And shoot Punch Drunk Sports a subscription follow as well on your podcast player. And subscribe to Numb Bills Fan Podcast wherever you get your podcast. Thank you as always. I'm your host, David Palermo, and I'm really leaving this time.